Hi there, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to take you through the construction process to show you the quantity of materials as well as its cost and the cost of labor and all the ancillary activities to bring this 6-bedroom duplex from the decking to the roofing level. So soon after the decking had been cast, and we used the next day to water it to allow it to cure a little bit, then the next activity on site is the setting out of blocks on the decking level to of course demarcate all the spaces to take it to the roofing stage. And of course this is a process that we painstakingly do to ensure that all the internal and external spaces are taken care of. At Umek, we normally start with all the external walls, of course taking the longest wall first and then squaring it and ensuring that the building is squared. Then we now start marking out the internal spaces one after another, establishing the doors, establishing the connection between all the spaces as is on drawing. So at this point, the whole spaces have been marked out and the block work is ongoing, one course after another. So, something worthy of note here is that each building project is unique in its own way. For instance, some building projects, you will notice that the window level could come at 2 courses of block, some at 4 courses of block, and this particular project, the window started at 3 courses of block. There are even some that have no block at all before the window, so the window goes all the way to the ground. So the idea is to always ensure that you read through the drawing and understand how the drawing is being positioned, and of course to help you ensure that everything is by the end of the day gotten the way it is drawn. So that is why we ensure that we reference the drawing at each point to ensure that by the end of the day you get what is drawn is exactly what is built by the end of the day. So here our window level started at 3 blocks, and of course at this point we are carrying all the blocks up to the lintel level to enable us to the lintel, and of course the iron bending work and other ancillary jobs are in preparatory mode at this particular point. At this point, all the ironworks had been done and of course mounted in position, and the carpentry work also had begun. And this of course ensures that all the columns in the building are chained together using the lintel, the chain lintel. And as we have established in most of our videos, the lintel has a number of functions in the building. Number one is to mark the end of the door, for instance, from the ground floor, and of course the end of the window. The second function is, since we are doing a chain lintel here, to link all the columns, and this is to enable the building distribute the load evenly on all the columns, and of course binding it together to enable it to have a good reasonable amount of strength all around the building. And that is what we've been able to achieve here. And of course, after this chain lintel had been cast, the next activity is to do what we call the leveling of blocks. And this is the activity of adding, in this case, 33 courses of block on the inside and 2 courses of block on the outside. And this is done because this building has parapet. So the 2 courses of block outside will level with the one inside with the parapet beam, which is also 9 inches, just as the size of the block. So by the end of the day, both the outside and inside block will still be at the same level just before the roofing starts. Now, recall that in our previous videos, we had established that first we entered the site at the DPC level, and of course we established that it costs us both material and labor from the DPC to the decking level. Cost this project 8,260,000 naira. And for the decking itself, that it includes the material, all the materials used for the decking, that's including the wood, the iron reinforcement rods, the binding wire, the cement, the concrete, and everything, including the labor for the decking, cost this project 30,216,000 naira. And now we are going to, of course, outline all the materials that was used from the decking to the parapet level, both the material and the labor, and of course also give you the exact cost it took us to bring this project to that level. So by the time the block work, the casting of the lintel and everything had been done to the parapet level, it was observed that the following materials had been used: 35 lengths of 16 rods, 65 lengths of 12 rods, 30 lengths of 8 rods, 1 roll of binding wire, then 3,000 9-inch blocks, 100 bags of cement, and of course the boards, that's a 1x12x12 that were used, is 100, and the sand that we used, that's the 7-ton tipper, was 2. Then we used 15 tons of chippings, and of course there were electrical and plumbing material that were put to work. So the total cost of all the materials used from the decking to the parapet level is 6,710,000 naira. Additionally, the total cost of the labor. Now, the labor here includes the block work, the carpentry work, the electrical work, the iron work, the plumbing work, the casting, and all other small works that led to the completion of this project from the decking level to the parapet level. And at this point, it was observed that the labor here, which in this case includes the engineer fees, was 1,750,000 naira. So this implies that it cost this project a total of 8,460,000 naira for both material and labor from the decking to the parapet level. Thank you for being with us this far, and see you in our next vlog.